All right, West Virginia fans, a sweep, a Cincinnati sweep. If I would have told you after the first half, at halftime, you would have called me crazy. Admit, what the hell did we just watch?
It's a great question, man. This team I think certainly has, some bad habits. Obviously, they're rough, way to start off a game. But hey, you found a way to win, which is always going to be the most important for me. Wasn't always pretty, but it's kind of it's been the name of the game for many games. So yeah, obviously some tough things in the early part of the game, but Honor Huff once again, emerged as the guy that we needed him to be.
Yeah, it's just like we've been waiting for Honor Huff to do that now for two straight games, and all of a sudden he reminds us very quickly who Honor Huff is. So it was absolutely insane the fact that we pulled this game out. For a while, man, I was just thinking, man, this post game show is going to be brutal to do. What are we going to say on the air? Is it baseball season? I had to change the thumbnail. I had to put a new description in. It all changed. So we have a lot to get to tonight. It's an exciting win. Anytime you win, you never apologize for a win. So we'll talk about all that tonight on the Jersey Ear Show. Before we do that, please remember to like and subscribe to Jersey Ear. We really, really appreciate the support. Actually want to plug a new show I'm doing as well. So on Mondays, you're going to find me over on WVU Sports Chat. And I just started a show called The Crossroads Show. So just want to say a quick thank you to Koo's Corner for giving me the opportunity to use one of his platforms to grow my show and also create some awesome content on there for his channel. So if you haven't checked it out yet, we just put an episode out on Monday. So definitely go check that out. We do some really great stuff. So definitely appreciate all the support. With that being said, let's get into this basketball game. Admit, a tale of two halves. A tale of two halves. Me and Admit, we should just have one day our live chat that is out there with our text. It would be great to do and just follow the text that we have, because there were some negative text going back and forth, wasn't there, during that game, Admit?
Yeah, absolutely. I was getting a little annoyed, especially in the first half, starting off the game once again cold. I mean, we've seen it, on a number of occasions now where you're just wondering, where's the motivation coming out of the gate, right? And I think some of it obviously falls on the players. I think a lot of it also falls on coaching, right? Getting your guys motivated, get out there and perform well, and probably a must-win game if we're being honest, right? As far as how the season kind of goes from here on out, right? I think I told you, if you don't get this one, I think you're thinking NIT. I really do, because it's just it's a game you just can't lose at this point in the season. So yeah, slow start, obviously difficult. A lot of turnovers, a lot of the same themes that we probably could talk about over and over. But the field goal percentage was pretty bad, and then Jizzle James, especially early on, was he was hot for Cincinnati.
Let's get to the comments real quick. Coop said, yes, sir, to quote Lil Wayne, yes, sir. Personal BTA from Your Honor. Absolutely. The BTA. I used a broom in the thumbnail. I didn't use the belt. Maybe next time I should use the belt there. Coop, you said Your Honor has spoken. Kind of reminds me of Aaron Judge, when he goes up, they say, like, Your Honor for him. Kevin Varney, he's back a bit. Kevin Varney said he was done. His mental health was not there with the Mountaineers. He's back tonight. He said, I am shocked. And Coop said we had a 7% chance to win. Yeah, it wasn't looking too great. And then Coop came back and said, Kevin, I thought you weren't watching no more. And he laughed and he said, I'm addicted. I think we all are. I think that's why we do the podcast, And then Coop said, honor makes everyone addicted. It's funny. I had a text from my buddy, shout out Max Gallo, who watches the show and is a West Virginia alumni. He goes, I don't know how you do the podcast. He texted me after the first time. I don't know how you do it. It's not easy. When you have a football team that's struggling, and you watch the offensive basketball that we watch tonight, Amit, it's definitely not easy. So let's get into the points of this. Slow start again. Amit, for the fifth straight game, the basketball team starts as slow as you possibly can have to start off a game.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive woes continued, especially on in the early part of the first half, and it's just so tough to watch when you're scoring 20 points and a half, and just a lot of the same themes that we always see. And your top shooters aren't scoring. You're getting some good looks, just not hitting them. Maybe get a couple things inside, but yeah, a lot of turnovers. Once again, beating yourself, right? And then when you're just not as deep, maybe as some of these other teams in the Big 12, you really need to your top scorers to perform. So thankfully they did, kind of moving forward in the second half. But yeah, just a brutal start for sure.
Eric Flowers, congratulations on the money line win tonight. I'm very happy for you. So we know how he rolls. Jizzle James and Baba Miller led Cincinnati with 10 points apiece. Both got out to quick starts. I think it was Baba Miller had 8 points in the last game, and then had 10 in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I mean, both of those guys obviously lead the Bearcats in scoring, and it was going to be. I think those two in particular are going to be major challenges for West Virginia to contain, and I think they thankfully kind of probably cooled off a little bit in the later stages of the game, but I think this was more about West Virginia kind of just not performing well offensively.
How about the guy in the graphic, Amit Kerr Kriisa? Seemed like the best thing he was doing tonight was taking the offensive charge calls.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was pretty hyped when he came on board in West Virginia, but I don't think he ever lived. I mean, that whole season was kind of, difficult, but it's so weird seeing some of these guys, him and Sincere Harris, in different uniforms sometimes.
Welcome to college sports in
Absolutely.
2026. It's crazy because it's not like this is his fourth school. He was at Arizona, West Virginia, Kentucky, and now Cincinnati. So he's taking the tour. I tell you what, he would have a heck of a podcast one day, about all of his stops. All of his stops along the way. Amit, if you would have told me before the game that we would have 0 points from 3-point land at the half, and Trayson Eaglestaff and Huff were to have 0 points, what would you have told me the result would have been after this one?
Probably would think we're down 20, to be honest. But then again, you're probably playing, like I told you, I think a very similar team to West Virginia, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So it almost felt like you're playing a clone of yourself, because I think these two teams are more similar than you think, and the numbers prove that as well, right? So maybe got away with it being kind of who you're playing, but I mean, definitely not a great start. Turnovers once again, missed free throws, a lot of the same themes that we've kind of been seeing. So luckily, they found a way to kind of regroup and bounce back from the second half.
Coop said Honor Huff just did Honor Huff things at Honor Huff times. Coop, that's funny because I've been getting in the habit of making Honor Huff the thumbnail. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll take a break from putting Honor Huff. I had Trayson Eaglestaff. This was supposed to be the thumbnail tonight, but I immediately put Honor Huff back on the thumbnail. So I mean, is it fair to say that we need to live and die by Honor Huff at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think, he was probably in his own head. I mean, you go 1 for 13, I think you're thinking about it, right? As you come back, and you want to see how he responded. And he didn't really shoot that much, especially in the first half. I think he only had 3 or 4 attempts, something like that. It wasn't a lot.
It felt like to me, once he made that first one, it was like lighting a match.
Yeah.
It was like lighting a match in a dry field, which you shouldn't do. Smokey the Bear told us to never do that, right? But you have a dry field, you a little spark, that's all he needed. And all of a sudden, he got his swagger back. It was crazy what he did in that game. And you know what else I like that the Honor Huff did was he was driving to the basket at times too. They were trying to take away the 3-point, and then he got aggressive, had a few and ones, and did some really solid things. So that was definitely exciting. Missed free throws continue to be a problem for this team. Amit in the first half missed 3 of 7 free throws.
Yeah, absolutely. They missed 10 for the game. So obviously difficult. And, West Virginia just hasn't been a good free throw shooting team all season, right? As the numbers show. So you definitely hope that, they kind of address that moving forward, because, those are game killers really. But to go back to Honor, though, I think he did a really nice job facilitating, getting his teammates involved when he wasn't particularly scoring in the first half. So, he was able to, I think DJ Thomas, some of the other guys, he was able to get inside when, he was seeing some doubles, right, and he was making the right play.
Coop said, thanks to whoever told the announcer to say Obioha. He kind of alluded to that tonight. He mentioned that, that announcer used to play at Baylor,
right,
and he got promoted. He used to be all the ESPN Plus games, and he's now on the main networks, and he's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but I actually think that guy has improved immensely as an announcer. I've gotten used to him calling our games, so maybe that's what it is. So he's actually grown on me. In the beginning, I did not like him on the ESPN Plus broadcast, but recently, I think he's kind of found himself in announcing, actually. So let me know how you guys feel about him. I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen him so many times. So there's that. All right, let's get into the final thoughts, and then we'll get into the box score and talk about what's ahead for the Mountaineers. Again, just Honor Huff explodes. We kind of talked about him earlier, Mitt. I feel like we just need to live and die with Honor Huff moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. Like I told you, I would have lived with him. You know, if he wasn't hitting, just you got to shoot, right? I mean, at some point, he's the only guy that kind of can explode like that. Maybe Eagle staff as well, but offensively, you're just not deep enough, right? So you got to live with your top guys. And then once he hit that first three, it was kind of a sigh of relief because it's like, all right, he might get going now. And then three, he hits another threes. So. And then he gets that, that play inside for the N1. So, yeah, I mean, just love, when he's able to kind of catch fire because, you really needed him to, perform at that part of the game. And, coming back from a 1-for-13 performance, just love to see him kind of get his groove back.
Yeah, for a while there, it just seemed like the team was just looking for a spark.
Yeah.
It felt like the team was dead, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It seemed like a quiet arena. By the way, did you see the Cincinnati student section wearing Speedos to try to throw people off?
Yeah, I was wondering, was that the swim team or was that just their students, kind of being students? I don't know, but I was like, what are they doing?
They're probably trying to be like, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to get on TV.
Yeah.
I'm in my 20s. I'm in the peak of my life. Why not? I'm sure his parents saw that. Some high school buddies, maybe an ex-girlfriend saw that, and it was a chance for them to get on TV. Harlan foul trouble. So, these guys got into foul trouble late, and this is actually Eric Flowers said, it seems like you don't want to have a heavy 7-footer in this league. You don't get to bump and bang like in the Big East. Yeah, both teams had foul trouble with their big man, and then we even mentioned Cincinnati was without their big man tonight. Mustafa Cham, he was out with an injury, which was huge for West Virginia before we even started.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 7'2" guy, and yeah, so I think particularly with Harlan, I mean, I think he did a decent job rebounding for West Virginia tonight. He was trying to be that energy spark, even you're down 10 or 12, he's kind of trying to fire up the guys. So it was kind of nice to see him kind of spark up the team from that standpoint.
It's growing on me because I feel like at times if Huff's missing, the team's body language is just out of it.
Right.
And the coach is on the sideline, like beside himself. Like there's times where like Hodge is just like, he doesn't know what to do. It looks that way anyway. And at least Harlan, even when they're down 20 points, is like still showing energy and still trying to be the energy guy. And you have to appreciate that a little bit. I know he hasn't had the best year and we want him to play bigger for his size, but at least he is trying to bring the energy and energize the team. I have been noticing that recently. It's like with this team, like they don't have like the Energizer Bunny that you get excited to play for, like Honor Huff when he makes shots. But like, remember when you said like Gabe Osabuoye, man?
Yeah, Gabe was a big energy guy.
Oh my God, he was so good at taking charges, and he just played with so much intensity that the fans. A lot resonated with the fans with him, and I just think we're missing that with this team. And then, with Harlan in foul trouble, it gave DJ Thomas a chance to step up. You had Lorient and Thomas then playing the 4 and 5. And I thought DJ Thomas, man, a guy that continues to mature and a guy they continue to trust as the games get later.
Yeah, I mean, made some big threes, 2 corner threes, and then obviously made some big free throws as well. I really love his game. I think he's getting good minutes and he's, taking advantage of those minutes. And I think you have to retain him next year. Him and Amir, I think those are the 2 guys you really just need to get back.
Those are good building blocks. We can talk about that at the end of the show. Is just like what this team has to do in the portal. Because it's funny, you texted me that, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, man, this team has a lot of work to do in the portal after the season, but you at least want to start with those 2. Coop said, actually, I took the wrong one. Our most used sentence now is a win. Hey, listen, we'll take any win you can get. This bumps us up to now. What are we, 5 and 3 in the league, Amit?
6-4, 15-8 overall. So it's a
Six and
quad
four.
two. It's a quad two. And I was actually just talking to my buddy. That Arizona State win is now a quad one. I was looking at the net rankings. I had no idea, but makes it more interesting actually now.
Yeah, a win's a win. And when
Yeah.
when people make the bracket, they're not gonna. They're. I mean, they might watch West Virginia like we do, but they're gonna see a W. They're not gonna see
Yep.
a team that had a fifth straight slow start. They're going to see a W, and this helps us survive until Sunday, right? Because if you lose this game, how many people are juiced for Sunday? Now we're back on, baby. The Mountaineers, I'm ready to roll. Like 1:00 game on Super Bowl Sunday. What's gonna happen is we're gonna play at 1:00 on Sunday. We're gonna do the post game show, and then that's gonna lead me into to the Super Bowl parties that we're going to go to, and you guys. Hopefully, you guys join it with us. We really appreciate that. But now Sunday's on, and it makes it keeps us alive for one more game, and that's all you can ask right now for this team, for a team that's limited, and for a team with a first year head coach. Not every win's going to be great, and I have my concerns, and we can talk about them on the show tonight. But a win is a win. We will take it. As the guys on Three Guys Before the Game say, never apologize for a win. And let's celebrate a win, man. It's not easy to win in this league. We've been through tough times. So even when it's ugly, and even though we beat a team that is not a very good good basketball team, in my opinion, we will take the wins that we can get and celebrate them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very similar to the Kansas State game where you kind of just, it wasn't pretty, but you got it done, and that's kind of what matters. But yeah, we see, we know where the kind of the holes are, right? The turnovers, the free throws, like kind of the offense, right? We know what the challenges are, but yeah, like you said, you're never going to apologize for a win. It keeps the season alive, and you just don't want this thing to spiral, right? You lose to Baylor, you lose tonight, and then you have Texas Tech, UCF, and some of these teams coming on the schedule. So you just don't want this thing to spiral out of control.
Coop said those Coal Rush jerseys are tough. I definitely like them. I mean, you see those Coal Rush jerseys?
Yeah, they look good. I like them a lot.
Eric Flowers, I can't read your comment on air because I'm a teacher, but yeah. He said, LOL. He said, who you got in the Super Bowl? I like the Seahawks, Coop. I think I like the pieces that they have. I think they've been the most consistent teams. I'm a Giants fan, so as a Giants fan, we had to see Saquon Barkley hoist the trophy. So I think the Jets might have a similar situation on their hands of sickness. Either way, they're going to see the Patriots win or Sam Darnold hoist the trophy. So yeah, what do you think?
I like the Seahawks as well. I mean, I'm a Giants fan as well, as you know. So it's hard for me to say the Pats, but you do see like the kind of the throwbacks with the Giants, like, oh, this day 14 years ago the Giants beat the Pats, this day 18 years ago. So I'm loving that.
Well, it's cool too to see Jeff Hostetler get some love too. A West Virginia Mountaineer in his own right. He pops up a lot too because he led the Giants to a Super Bowl, filling in for Phil Simms, and he's a West Virginia guy. Married Don Nealon's daughter, transferred in from Penn State, and beat Oklahoma in the '80s. So that's definitely cool too. Amit, let's do the box score real quick, and then we'll preview the schedule for the next few games.
Yep.
So let me get to it. Boom, 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 boom. 1 second. Remove this and screen share this. All right. Can you see this? This is all right. So 59 and 54. So that's 59-54. That's probably what you thought this game was going to be coming into this one. If you were going to win this one, I know Three Guys Before the Game were calling it a rock fight and said it was going to be a gritty game, and that's what this one was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, two teams that are not going to light it up offensively. Cincinnati is very similar to West Virginia statistically with the points per game. Both are 15th and 16th respectively. So, just two teams that are not going to score like Arizona, for example. So, kind of expected this type of game to be honest, kind of low scoring. And then who's going to make more plays at the end, right? The first time around I believe it was 62-60 in West Virginia's favor. So another low scoring one, and a couple possessions decided it, and it was kind of the same deal tonight.
So if you look here, West Virginia shot 44%, which is hard to believe with how cold they started. They played really good defense. If there's one thing that holds this team into the games is that they play good defense. Cincinnati just shot 36%. Uh, West Virginia, let's go to turnovers. That was a big issue. What did the turnovers end up with? It's wild. It's wild that we finished even in the turnover margin because in the first half, West Virginia was turning the ball over all over the place. I think that turnover amid the first one in the second half, I think that was their 10th turnover of the game at that point.
Yeah, I mean, overall they cleaned it up in the second half. I remember, just starting the second half where Jasper Floyd's kind of throwing it into Harlan, and it goes out of bounds, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the first play of the game, the first play of the second half. I'm like, but I think West Virginia did a better job in the second half of taking care of the ball, and they were able to turn over Cincinnati because Cincinnati wasn't turning it over much early on, especially in the first half. So yeah, I think West Virginia did a much better job in the second half with taking care of the ball.
Well, the good news is they got to the free throw line. We shot 21 shots compared to their 9, but the bad news is we shot 52%. That is continuing to be an issue.
Yeah, the free throws have been a mess. I mean, you missed 10 like the other night. I mean, also missing whatever 6 or 7 that they missed. So you're getting to the line, which is encouraging, but you gotta make some of these free throws. And I think it's just getting in the gym, right? That's how you correct it. You have to just keep going at it and keep practicing, right?
Honor Huff can make like a shot from like wheeling, and then the next shot miss like a free throw. It makes no sense. West Virginia won the points in the paint, which I found surprising too, because in the beginning of the game, Cincinnati really took over. Just a very and the bench points was lopsided. Second chance points even. Rebounding was pretty much even. So a lot of even things here, but West Virginia gets the sweep over their old Big East rival. I mean, look at the lead time change there, 29 minutes to 7:05. So to say we pulled this one out is an understatement. Let's go to some individual stats here. Lorient, 11 points. He quietly had a good game today. Has been shooting the ball pretty efficiently. 11 points, but 5 for 7 for the field. So high percentage for him.
Yeah, I mean, he just continues to, do his role, right, and provide efficiency. And I think he just does so much inside for West Virginia, and gets the easy points, right, which West Virginia desperately needs at times. So another quiet game, like you said, I think, but he's super important to West Virginia's success.
Honor Huff amid 6 assists. I think that he's building trust with the coaching staff. There's been a few times where they're just like, you know what, Honor, you're taking the ball up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think in the first half, especially, even though he went scoreless, I think he did a nice job facilitating and getting his teammates involved. And sometimes, towards the second half, I would want him to be a little bit more selfish, to be honest, because I know he's trying to make the right play, find the open guy, do the right thing basketball wise. But, when you just don't have a team that's going to light it up offensively and you have such limited options at times, it's like, go win the game, man. So which he did.
Cold one for Eagle staff. He just looked off tonight. There was one time where he got the ball just like straight up stolen from him. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I was saying some things I wasn't too happy about, but tough night for him. Harlan Obioa, 5 points. Jenkins 2. I mean, I'm just realizing Thomas had 14 points. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, he really was huge in the second half, in the late stages of the second half, making a couple threes, getting, some free throws, and really just love his game, man. He I think he's a very smart player, and he's only a freshman. And I think he's, it's so exciting to see, what he's capable of doing, if West Virginia is able to retain him, right? Being that, he's getting a lot of minutes in his first year, and he's only going to get better.
He said, Koo said turnovers were an issue as well. Yeah, we talked about that. It's crazy because in the first half, the turnovers were insane. They had 10, and what West Virginia couldn't do in this game was turn the ball over. We said things you couldn't do, right? Can't turn the ball over, can't have a slow start, and you need to get Huff and Eagle staff going. They literally didn't do a single one of those things in the first half and still found a way to win a game on the road, which is it might say more about Cincinnati than it does say about us. And Kuz says ugly, but a win is a win. So Kuz, again, thank you. Again, to plug the show again, if you're just joining us, doing a show on Mondays over on WVU Sports Chat. They just rebranded the channel. And I'm hosting a show called The Crossroads Show. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check that out. I'm going to be doing videos every Monday for that. So Amit, maybe we'll get you on that show too. That'd be fun to get you on too and talk some stuff. Coop said take some 15 hours to post interviews. Shaking my head. Yeah, I'll have to check those out. What was Cinci's biggest lead? I think it got up to like 15.
13, something like that. 13, 14, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into the schedule. So Amit, it gets real now. And I messaged you, I think a day or two ago, and I said, listen, we're gonna know one way or another what this team's postseason plans are, I think, in the next 6 games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you have a lot of Quad 1 games coming up. You have still 5 Quad 1 games left in the Big 12 with this slate. So a lot of excitement and a lot of opportunity, right? So that's why I thought, you got to take care of business tonight for sure. And then Texas Tech, you have another Quad 1 game coming up. And, they're fresh off a loss against Kansas on Monday night, which was a tremendous game. Kansas wouldn't have won that game if it wasn't for Darren Peterson. But Texas
Kansas
Tech
has won, what, 6 games in a row now?
They're extremely hot right now. Since West Virginia, I don't think they've lost. And yeah, Texas Tech is just, they have a very, very good player. Obviously, JT Toppin, who was the Big 12 Player of the Year last year. He's averaging a double-double. So West Virginia is really going to have to be good, inside defensively containing that guy.
I mean, we're going to have to find a topic to do in between Sunday and Saturday. It's a long layoff. I didn't realize that there was a layoff between Sunday and Saturday. So I'll tell you what, if they don't improve the way they've played, they won't beat Texas Tech and UCF, though, in my opinion. They have to play better. A win's you can get through a team beating a 500 team like you did tonight, but you cannot play the way you've been playing and win the next two games, and really 4 out of the next 5. Texas Tech, UCF, TCU, Oklahoma State, and BYU. 5 out of the next 6. Yeah. You got to bring your A game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a better start, right? You should be juiced. You have a top 15 team coming home, right? And probably going to have a good crowd, I imagine, for that one. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. And look, if you want to get in the dance, you're going to have to perform well at this time of the season, and you're going to have to prove that you're a tournament team. So it starts with Texas Tech, and I'm excited to see how they do. But you got to start off better. You just can't have these lapses anymore.
What a perfect opportunity to wear the Coal Rush jerseys. I mean, they have to wear them on Sunday, in my opinion. You come off a comeback win. You have everything in front of you still. I know it's been ugly, but you have everything absolutely in front of you right now. If you can finish this next run and make some hay, everything's still in front of you. These guys that came to Morgantown, Trace and Eaglestaff, Honor Huff, they came here to play in the NCAA tournament. Go get some wins. Go find it. I know it's easier said than done, but you have me believing once again, because about an hour ago, this podcast looked a lot different. So you got to win tonight. You keep finding ways to win the game. You have a winning record. Give the Mountaineer fans a show on Sunday. All right, Mitt, let's get to some former Mountaineer news, and then we'll put this one to bed. This one was disappointing to me, Mitt. I'm a Knicks fan. I love watching Deuce play for the Knicks. I'm a Jersey guy, so the local team is the Knicks. Going to be out, looks like, for the rest of the regular season. How big of a blow is this for the Knicks and McBride?
Yeah, no, I think it's tough. I love Deuce's energy. I mean, I think he brings, great energy to the Garden, which is, probably in my opinion the best place to play in the NBA. And yeah, I mean,
Ren Baker, get a Mountaineer game at the Garden. Me and Amit want to go back to Jack Doyle's, please, and thank you.
100%. But yeah, no, I think it's a tough loss. I mean, I know the Knicks did some things today with the trade deadline as far as getting on the guard, but Deuce brings a great amount of energy. He's a great defensive guy. I think he's been a great fit for the Knicks, honestly. And the Knicks, I think, are deep enough where they'll be able to manage for now. But I read that he's going to possibly miss time until the playoffs, which is obviously going to be a tough blow for the Knicks. Yeah,
absolutely. I love Deuce. Wish him the best in health. He's had a great NBA career so far. One of my favorite Mountaineers of all time. Truthfully, one of my favorite guys to watch. Heck of a football player too. Rumor has it, back at Moeller in Ohio.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Bulldog. The Javon Carter. Tough news for him as well. Bulls cut ties with him. Just thoughts on him getting waived by the Bulls. And is this the final stop, or do you think he gets picked up again?
Yeah, no. Honestly, I would be surprised if he gets picked up again. I think he's had some, he's done some good things in the NBA. He's been, with a couple of teams now with the Grizzlies. Obviously he had another stint with the Bulls, and he's kind of been around the league. But I loved watching him as a Mountaineer. He definitely brought that, that treadmill mentality that that Huggins preached. So obviously all-time great Mountaineer. But and then he's done some good things in the NBA, and it's hard to believe. I don't know how many years he's been in the NBA now, but it's been a little time. So
Yeah,
it's
he played with like Daxter Miles. I mean, like
yeah,
he's
so
been in the league for a
a little bit,
while.
yeah,
He's another one. I mean, take your pick between him and Deuce, and really Javon Small. Those three, since we've been following the team, have been up there. I just missed Deshaun Butler, but he would have been up there too, obviously. And Kevin Jones. We've had some good ones over the
yeah.
last few years.
I remember the year that Deuce and Javon Carter were playing against each other in one of the games, and I was just watching. I'm like, man, this is awesome. This is awesome to see.
Yeah, it is cool. It's cool for the program. And hopefully and now we have Small up there too. So you have three guys represented.
Yeah,
So I think Carter will get another shot somewhere. I do. I think for his tenacity he plays with, I think he could benefit people off the bench and give some solid minutes. And hopefully it'd be awesome to see him go to a contender. And possibly on a team and just stick to his role, get a few minutes a night, and continue his NBA career. If not, though, heck of an NBA career. West Virginia Nation is proud of you, and you're going to go down as one of the favorite Mountaineers of all time. Let's see. Any other comments? Coop said, if we can win 5 or 4 of the unranked and at least one ranked win, we can make March Madness. Yeah, at that point, it might come down to what you do in the Big 12 tournament, too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, like I said earlier, you're at 20, 21 wins. There's absolutely going to be discussion with the bubble, and depending, obviously, who you beat and who you possibly lose to, for sure. But
Now, did you see Baylor today? Like Lenardi had Baylor on the first 4 out. I'm just like, man, Baylor. Like, I know they just beat us, but like they just lost to the Cincinnati team. They have a 2-7 record in the Big 12. I just don't understand how that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know who they have remaining on their schedule. I know they've had a daunting schedule so far, but yeah, they have 12 wins or something like that. So I
And
don't
one of
know.
them is us. One of
Yeah,
them is us at home.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I
Who
don't know.
knows? But yeah,
And
no, still
Oklahoma State's another one. So
absolutely.
that could be. When do we play Oklahoma State? Let me go back to
Oklahoma
that.
State just beat BYU. I believe that was last night. So yeah, I mean they have, I think they're like 16-6 or something like that. So February 24th on the road.
Ooh,
That's going to
that
be a quad one game. So
that
hey,
that could be a huge swing game
yeah, there's
for
still a
both
lot of
teams.
opportunity here, man.
Yeah, and UCF too. Another team that might be in
And you
a
play them
similar.
twice. You play UCF twice. So
He said Honor Huff is hilarious with his Twitch streams. I started a Twitch for my NCAA football league with my buddies. So I'm just getting into it. I'm sure those guys. I know who has a big Twitch guy now is Kevin White. Kevin White plays like Call of Duty, I guess, and he's been starting to put his face out there more. So if you follow Kevin White, I think you know that. He said NCAA glazes Baylor. Yeah, I'm not sure if it has like something to do with like the coach or them winning a national championship within the last recent years, but to me, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, if your record's that bad in the conference, you just never know though with like computers. Remember that one year with Stevenson, West Virginia finished like 7 wins or 8 wins in the Big 12 and still made the tournament. The computer just loves West Virginia during that year. But the thing is, like the Big 12, like I said, I think the Big 12 is very top heavy this year. I think there's a lot of good teams at the top, but if you look at the middle, West Virginia's in the middle, and to me, not to be negative, I just don't like. In most years, would this team be in the middle of the pack of the Big 12?
no, I don't think so. I think the top six are definitely top six. Very established teams, and the rest are kind of up for debate. But I would say if that number 7 team is probably UCF at this point. But right now, I mean, I think it's 7 teams in the dance. So let's see what happens. Oklahoma State's going to definitely be in the discussion. I guess Baylor, West Virginia, possibly TCU. So there's still a lot to play for.
I mean, no, we're gonna do Sunday. We're gonna read the text out loud of our game, and just 'cause I'm reading this, I'm going through them. At one point, you said West Virginia looks like a high school basketball team that I cover.
First half, I was getting
Before the
annoyed,
game
man.
started, you said need a good start tonight.
Yeah.
And then you said deserve the NIT, LOL. Fool's good with the Kansas game.
Yeah, I was getting annoyed in the first half watching some of the offense again. I was like,
Well, the
man, come
reason I'm
on.
looking through my text right now is because I'm thinking back like to the former West Virginia teams, and me and Amit had a good conversation today during my lunch break, and we were talking about like past West Virginia teams. And Amit said, it's too bad that that COVID year
Yep.
ended early because they just beat Baylor, who was highly ranked at the time at home, and that team had some momentum. Guys, listen to this roster that was in Morgantown and tell me who you think would win right now if they played. So the 2019-2020 roster, the COVID cut short, the COVID season that was cut short. This was their roster: Jalen Bridges, Derek Culver, Emmett Matthews, Deuce McBride, Jordan McCabe, Sean McNeil, Gabe Osaboyan, Taz Sherman, Oscar Sheboy. Who wins a bit? Who wins?
That team was smoked this team.
Team was loaded.
Down. I mean, that team offensively is just going to at least score 70, 80 easy, 80 plus. So
That team was absolutely.
Yeah, that team was loaded.
I was devastated the second to last time we made the tournament when we lost to Syracuse and Buddy Boeheim went off because that team was so great, man. That team was so good.
It was a great game.
And Deuce McBride, man, he would carry the team on some nights. And there were like nights like tonight where there's like no way West Virginia's going to win that game, and they found a way to win games, and they made it all the way to the tournament. I think that was the tournament that like they had to limit the capacity because it was the year after COVID. I think that was the 21 season.
Yeah.
And Mr. John said big win. Absolutely, John. Great to hear from you, man. Thanks again for commenting, liking the show, subscribing to the show. We appreciate it. Amit, we have another comment from Leo Cole. Crucial win. Absolutely, man. Like I said, me and Amit were texting today. We're like, man, I hope we just win. I hope we win because the shows are much more enjoyable. These shows are tough to do when you lose, especially with what the team has given us so far a little bit. The scoring droughts, the lack of a net play, the turnovers, the missed free throws. It's been a challenging, and you want to be positive when you're covering the Mountaineers and you're talking about your alma mater, but sometimes they make it difficult. So crucial win, big win, Leo. And like I said earlier at the top of the show, it gives us something to look forward to Sunday. Sunday should be a huge day. If you live within 2 to 3 hours of Morgantown, well, I guess if you're a little closer because you don't want to make it back for the Super Bowl. If you're within an hour to 90 minutes of Morgantown, get yourself a ticket. What better way would it be? Go see the game at 1 o'clock. Game ends at 3. On your way home from the game, tune into the Jersey Ear Show. Listen to me and Amit. Or if Coos is on, listen to Coos. Right? Listen to one of the post-game shows. And get ready for the Super Bowl. Get home. Get the TV going with your 75-inch TV. Have the wife make some appetizers for you and the kids. Crack open a cold one. Enjoy your Sunday. That sounds like a great Sunday. Hopefully with a mountain your way. Hopefully we sing Country Roads for that one.
Absolutely.
All right. He said Honor carried us tonight. Absolutely did, Leo. I thought West Virginia, I thought the nail was in the coffin on the season tonight. You got to be honest. I thought it was going to be rough. I almost made the thumbnail as a baseball season yet. Speaking of that, by the way, to plug another show or another episode, I put out a West Virginia baseball preview with my buddy Greg Garcia on Monday. I'm excited for this baseball team. There's a lot of taking a lot of chances on some D2 players.
Yeah.
But this baseball team should be really, really exciting to watch this year.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of momentum with that program. I remember when we were in college, there was no momentum. There was no excitement around.
Did you see any games at Hawley Field?
Yeah, my God. I mean, the job that Maisie did to turn that program around was absolutely incredible. And
I said it on my podcast the other day. I think they should put a statue up of that guy.
100%. And I mean, obviously coming from TCU, I mean, he absolutely did an amazing job with West Virginia. And now they're the postseason is kind of the expectation, I think, with that program, right? You want to get to the regional, you want to get to the super regional, and Omaha. Let's hope to get there, soon.
What's going to happen, Amit, is that they're going to make, because me and my buddies have been talking about this forever. Like if West Virginia ever makes it to Omaha, like we're there. Yeah. You know what's happening right around that time?
What's that?
My wife is expected to give birth to my daughter.
That's right.
By the way, so we're gonna name her something M, and I was telling him like, Morgan would be a great name, and she was like against that for a long time. She's like, well, maybe, but she's probably gonna go with Mackenzie. But that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna predict the future.
I
West Virginia is gonna make it to Omaha, and I'm gonna want to go so bad, but I'm not gonna be able to go because my wife's gonna be giving birth to our daughter, which is gonna be my third kid. Funny story, real quick before we get off the air, Mitt. So I always told myself when the Penn State West Virginia game came out, like when we were in college, it was like, oh, in 2023, Penn State West Virginia. And at the time, it was like an exciting game. I'm like, I don't care where I am, I'm going to that game.
yeah.
My wife got pregnant with our second kid, and she gave birth like 7 days before the game. And my mother-in-law came through, man, and she was able to watch the kid. And we got RV up, and we ended up going to both of the Penn State West Virginia games. Actually, it was on Three Guys Before the Game. I sent the picture, and they were talking about should I go, shouldn't not go. But I ended up going. But Omaha is a different animal. You have to go out there for like a week.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to that. Leo Cole said, "Do you think we can get 5 more wins?" Let's look at it. Let's see what we think, Mitt. Let's see if we can get 5 real quick.
Utah you got to beat
Utah's
Utah.
a win, I think. At Kansas State, yes.
Yes.
UCF at home.
You get one of those two. If you can somehow get either BYU or Tech.
I think you can get 4.
Yeah.
But even 4 is, I mean, you get 10.
4 will
10
get you to
win.
what, 19 wins? You'll probably look at what, 19 and 12, and then probably what?
You
10.
win 2. You win 1 or 2 in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah. So let's see.
Let's take one game at a time. Let's get Saturday.
One game at a time. You got to clean some things up going into Tech. So we'll focus on Tech. But look, there's potential. So let's see. But you got to clean some things up, in my opinion, as well.
Leo, I'll tell you this. I mentioned this earlier. If they play like they have the last 2 games, they will not win. Yeah. They'll win like one of these games, maybe. Yeah, or truly, like they need to clean it up. But let's take it one game at a time. We got to hope for a fast start. I mean, you would think that odds are you're going to have a faster start than you've had the last 5 games. But this again, I think this win not only for the fans, but I think for the team is huge. I think that it keeps the team juiced, and it gives them something to play. And I think it's going to be a great atmosphere on Sunday at that game. So one game at a time. Let's compete Saturday. I think that's the biggest thing I want to see on Saturday is let's compete, because the last few times, minus the Kansas game, we've gotten run out of the gym pretty early against the top tier competition. You've played well at home this year for the most part, besides the last game. Let's see what this team can do on Sunday. If there's any more comments I'll comment. Oh, he said we have some more comments here. Tosh Miller, another bubble year, in my opinion. We are a lot worse than last year. Let's have that debate real quick. I agree with you. I think last year's team would beat this team.
Yeah.
Especially if they had Tucker healthy. I mean, it's not even a competition. I think even without Tucker, I just think last year's team's more balanced to beat you. I mean, Javon Carter alone, or not Javon Carter.
Javon Small.
Javon Small is an NBA, guard. Like, I don't know if they have that on this year's team.
Right.
And then just this other stuff that Buck Harris did last year, and
Amani Hansberry, he's lighting it up at Virginia Tech right now.
Yeah, and even you got like there'd be times like where Yesufu gave you good stuff, and Toby Okani. They were just more of a balanced team last year than this year's team. They didn't have the offensive struggles that this year's team did.
Absolutely. They really didn't have the lapses that, this team obviously has.
But the thing is, the Big 12 is a lot worse this year, I think, than last year.
Yeah. But, I mean, at the same time, that team beat Arizona in that tournament. They beat Gonzaga. They beat Kansas at their place. Like, they had some – at this point in the season, they had wins. They
lost to Louisville in overtime.
Right. But – they had enough, I think, quality wins where it wasn't even, in my opinion, like
they should have gotten torn.
They should have.
They got screwed.
Like,
last year.
Should they be in Colorado in the Big 12? Absolutely, but I still think they did enough personally.
What's the deal with Indiana? Indiana just lost the other day, right?
Yeah, they're probably a bubble team right now. I imagine. Yeah, they lost to I believe they lost to USC. They beat UCLA close and they lost to like USC. So they've been up and down, but I think they're going to be on the bubble as well.
How awesome would it be if it came down to like West
Right.
Virginia and Indiana on Selection
What a
Sunday,
storyline that would be.
and West Virginia knocked out Indiana out of the bubble? Like, all right, it's
Yeah.
down to one team.
Yeah.
It's Indiana and West Virginia,
Yeah.
and West Virginia knocked them out.
That would be amazing. That would truly be.
Knowing us, knowing our luck, we go the other way.
The other way, but
then we have an emergency podcast to complain.
One game at a time, as they say. The coaches.
Could you imagine this podcast last year when we got snubbed from the tournament and like a day later, what happened?
I couldn't believe it, man. When I got the notification, because I was doing something and I wasn't able to watch the show, and I was like, man, what the heck?
I'm not sure. Like last year was one of the most depressing times as a West Virginia fan I can think of. Like, within a 24-hour period, we got snubbed from the tournament, and before you can even digest it,
your
coach left for a bigger program. That was tough. I think the only other time I was that depressed is when we lost the Oklahoma State game, when we blew like an 11-point lead at Oklahoma State. All you had to do was win and you'd be in the Big 12 championship game with Greer. Those were the two low points as far as a West Virginia fan for me.
I know you're talking about heartbreaking losses. I listened to the baseball episode, and that A&M game that was brutal. That grand slam was absolutely brutal.
Dude, that was terrible. They gave up like a 9-run lead with like in the last inning, and they had 2 outs, and they just had to get 1 out, and they hit a grand slam.
I think they had to get 1 strike. I think it was like a full count or a 2-2 count or something. And I was like, you got to be kidding me! Like,
I remember watching that game with my dad. I was so mad because we watched like a 4-hour college baseball game.
Yeah. Yeah,
and we were just like, it just baseball's a tough one because like there's no time limit. You can't run out the clock,
right?
And that was I was so invested in that baseball team too. That was brutal. That was an absolutely brutal way to lose a game.
But then they won some crazy games last year, right? When you talk about like the Clemson game and everything like that. Like, I mean, hey,
dude, I'm so ready to go for baseball. I'm so ready.
It doesn't feel like it though. It's so cold right now, at least in Jersey.
I went for a run today. I went. It was finally like decent enough to go for a run. Yeah. So that was good. We have some other comments. He said, "Yeah, they need to clean some stuff up." Yeah, stop turning the ball over in the first half. Start faster.
Make free throws.
Get someone else besides Honor Huff to save you. They did tonight, though. They had DJ Thomas.
DJ Thomas was huge, yeah.
Last year, also had Jaden Stone, who never played. He's doing really solid this year.
Yeah, that's right.
I think, could you imagine if Tucker would have actually played and Jaden Stone would have played? Man, that team could have been like a 4 or 5 seed in that tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we have so many of those stories, though, as West Virginia fans. Like if Oscar Sheboy would have never left, because then they would have had Sheboy, Deuce, another altogether another year, and Culver.
Didn't Culver leave early too? Like he had 1 year left, I believe.
Yeah,
he should have. I think he should have stayed. Like I think it would have really helped. Like another Devin Williams had 1 more year, would have I think helped his career.
Devin Williams had like the worst people in his corner ever, especially now. That doesn't exist anymore. He didn't even go pro. He went overseas. Right. I'm sorry. Would you rather stay in college where it's Morgantown, where you have 15,000 people cheering you on every night and possibly have a chance to go back to the NCAA tournament, or go play in Lithuania? I'm sorry. I'm choosing Morgantown.
1 more year. He was really good. 1 more year would have helped him tremendously. And I think he actually could have had a shot to get picked up by an NBA team.
Yeah, for sure. It's sometimes these guys, they listen to the wrong advice, and that was before the NIL, came. So I wonder, what his NIL package would have been,
right?
To stay in Morgantown, because now, let's face it, especially why would unless you're a guaranteed lottery pick, it makes a lot of sense to go back to college, because you just never know if your skill set's going to translate. How many guys go to the G League or end up going overseas? And that's just not the route you want to go. I think you can make more money in college now.
I think Oscar, if he stayed at Kentucky, would have made more money than going to the NBA. Something like that. It was something crazy like that. That's some story.
What is Oscar doing? Does anyone have an update of where he's playing?
He's on some team. I want to say he was on Utah or something, but I think he gets some minutes for sure. But I haven't kept up with him enough.
He was a McDonald's All-American. He was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But we mentioned him the other night on our show at Coos. We talked about like once a Mountaineer, always a Mountaineer, and like Coos like that doesn't apply to everybody. And I was like, yeah, I asked Rashid Way. I was like, this guy quit in the middle of the season. He couldn't get along with Hugs and left mid-season. Like, don't let the door hit you.
There's some people that I don't know, like Jalen Bridges, maybe.
Coos said that. So Coos was talking about that. He said that Jalen Bridges, the dude he mentioned, he was like, listen, he's like, that dude, like the way he left and talked trash. You know what I like about Jalen Bridges is that he rode the coattails of Baylor. He went on his visit and was taking like a photo
with the
of
natty.
him with Baylor's national championship. You know how corny that looks?
No part of that team.
No part of that team.
Whatever, man. Yeah.
That's like Cam Vaughn going to Miami and like posting like a jersey of him with the national championship patch. Like you weren't on that team.
Yeah.
You have to every team has a new story to write every year. You were not. Like, it would almost like it would make me annoyed if I was on that team and there's dudes taking pictures with that.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know. It's like we're back in the day when we were kids and you're in a group project and you do absolutely nothing to contribute to the project, and someone else gets an A and you brag about it.
Yep.
Except you're still your name on the project. Your name's not even on that project. That's right. You know what it's similar to, Amit? It's similar to a guy going on Instagram and taking a photo with a car that's not his.
Right.
When everyone on the internet knows.
Yeah. I know some people like that.
Yeah, they flex with like their money or their cars. I'm like, that's not your car.
Right.
At all. That's that you found that car
exactly
parked on Fifth Avenue.
Yep.
Anyway, we're getting off on a tangent. That's the cue to get off of here. We've been on for 51 minutes. That's what happens when you win. If we would have lost, this would have been a 15-minute show.
Yeah, that's right.
That's just fun, man. Man, we'll do it again Sunday if you're around.
Yep. Absolutely.
Let's go Mountaineers. I appreciate everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe to the show. We got to get our subscribers up. Right now we've been hovering in that 637 range. Let's get the subscribers up. Let's really build this thing. Let's grow the show. Again, follow WVU Sports Chat. Follow the Crossroads Show. We're going to go on there once a week on Mondays. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of the night, your family. Q Country Roads. We'll talk to you next time on the Jersey Ear Show.